There's a few ways for the company to grow, right? Like expand into a new market via going into new countries, expand into a new market via going into a new product area that sells to a new buyer. As you mentioned, capture more TAM, sell more to your existing buyer, or raise your prices. Those are pretty much the options you have. And so whenever the company needs growth, or as you anticipate needing growth, like you look at your great, we need to hit these numbers. And this is where each of these dimensions come in. At some point, we'll need to launch another product or launch another geo or raise our prices or launch another feature to charge more. And so you could come at it via a very analytical lens in that way, which is we will do it whenever it's necessary so that we can grow the way we need to grow. And we'll pick our option amongst those four based on how the product is resonating in market today, the willingness to pay of our buyer, the potential advantages we have on adjacencies, or like how the geographic landscape is looking and our go-to-market engine desire to push in that direction. That's a really analytical answer. And Stripe often takes that very analytical approach, right? Like I mentioned, Patrick thinks backwards when you put a bet in front of him. Hey, how is this going to add $10 billion in enterprise value to Stripe? Like he's, thinking about it from that way. But while I was, at Stripe getting that sort of like rigorous pressure from Patrick, I also looked at like Jack Dorsey, right? And Cash App, the early story of Cash App seems to be the exact opposite, where Jack Dorsey was like, I have this intuitive belief that people need payments to work this way. We need to, empower the masses to be able to be banked when they're underbanked. And I think a product of this shape can do it. And they kept plugging at it for years and years and years without like a, super concrete business plan saying we're going to make this thing happen. And, true enough, now look at how successful Cash App is and what a giant part of the business it is. And so I don't want to diminish that as a hugely driving factor in when you should be multi-product, like making those calls based on instinct, like sometimes helps you hit, home runs rather than hit a bunch of like singles and doubles.